deny vegan because you want to be ill and miserable.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
A lot of people loved watching the interactions. I was veganizing a lot of people. A lot of eyeballs could see these messages.
Continue watching to find out more.
Bienvenidos, warm-hearted viewers. That was welcome in Spanish. My name is Gabriel. The hospitable Nicaraguan people wish your lives are healthy, vibrant, and blessed. Welcome to Vegan Batgirl Connie Spence, Part 1 of 4, The Giant Spotlight. Among the multitude of activists in the surging vegan movement, Connie Spence definitely is one of a kind with her no-nonsense style. In today's program, we will introduce you Connie Spence, an 11-year vegan who pushes the envelope to drive more conversations and eyeballs toward veganism. Noticing the constraints that exist in many activism events, requiring the presence of a large number of activists to create an impact, Connie Spence devised a unique way to reach multitudes of people by spotlighting outsized vegan messages on building walls. Her innovative approach earned her the nickname Vegan Batgirl. We had the opportunity to interview her in February 2021. Let's find out how it all started for her.
I was one of those meat eaters that knew a few vegetarians, were annoyed by them, and said, and I quote, "Kill me if I ever turn vegetarian." And I, like a year later, turned vegetarian. So you can never lose hope on people that kind of have that strict stance about their meat eating, because like you just never know. 13 years ago, I went vegetarian. I gave up mostly everything besides cheese. I was the classic cheese holdout. 3 years after going vegetarian, I had already given up milk. I'd already given up wearing leather. And I had a boss that had what he called a mini heart attack. And his doctor from Boulder, Colorado, told him he had to commit to being vegan for a certain amount of time to prevent himself from dying young. And I watched his transformation, and it really did take a short amount of time to get somebody who had a mini heart attack, had already started scheduling like different procedures, like putting a stent in to be able to combat his heart issue. And that doctor basically saved his life. And it didn't take long. It took like 2 months. With that said, that was when I kind of dove into veganism. I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to set a date. And the date I'm going to give up cheese is June 2010. So I committed to it. It was kind of hard for the first 2 or 3 weeks, but after that, once you create a game plan and you find, replacements and you're satisfied and they're convenient, it was pretty easy. So this was 2010.
As far as what motivated Connie to become a vegan activist, she continued.
I knew nothing about activism. Social media was just transitioning from MySpace to Facebook. 2009, 2010, if you don't remember. People were still like, what is this Facebook college thing? And so anyways, all of a sudden, I would say in 2014, I started seeing people sharing activism events on Facebook, and I started getting involved with that. I think I did a few fur protests when I lived in New York City. I did some marches when I lived in Los Angeles. I did some cubes of truth with holding the laptop and showing animal abuse in public. I went to save events. And then I created my own form of activism, which is where the name Vegan Batgirl comes from.
Treasured viewers, we'll be back after this short message. Please stay tuned to Supreme Master Television.
A man can live and be healthy without killing animals for food. Therefore, If he eats meat, he participates in taking animal life merely for the sake of his appetite, and to act so is immoral. Leo Tolstoy, vegetarian.
Welcome back to our program. After reading an article about a guy using light to show a printed message on a wall, Connie was thrilled about this idea and wanted to find out about the source he used. Let's hear her fascinating story.
As an advertiser, I wanted to get as many eyeballs as possible on my message. So I'm like, okay, well, we should centralize our money to do advertisements. But it was really hard to get people to like centralize the type of money that you could put in, an ad on TV. Light isn't vandalism, which is fascinating to me. Someone told me to go to a lighting store in Los Angeles, basically the lighting store, equipment stores for concerts and for movie studios. And I went there and they showed me the equipment. It was a really high, powerful light. And then you need a generator to be able to be a power source for that high-powered light.
Connie did all it took to figure out how to generate the powerful light she needed, and her determination paid off, allowing her to start showing powerful and persuasive vegan messages on building walls.
And so I instantly started using that light with vegan messages, and someone said it looks like a Batman light, and I was like, it sure does. And so then Vegan Batgirl became the name, which is kind of silly, right?
What an amazing story. Connie's previous 15-year career in advertising and software business development helped her create the Vegan Batman Light to project 70 by 70 feet messages of truth and compassion onto the sides of buildings in order to transform people's attitudes. The purpose of these messages was to reach a larger audience and help people make the connection between their purchases and the harrowing torture of innocent animals.
And a lot of people loved watching the interactions. I was veganizing a lot of people. A lot of eyeballs could see these messages. So if you can imagine a giant message that talked about veganism in some way being on a giant wall like the Staples Center in Los Angeles or even the Slaughterhouse in Los Angeles. I went to Vegas with it and put it on Vegas hotels. Pretty much anywhere that there was a blank wall, I would put it on.
Connie knew nothing about dealing with the police, but had to interact with them at least 75 times. Her great knowledge of the law saved her from being shut down when she was using the light about 3 or 4 times a week.
And the types of interactions had police coming sometimes thinking that the light was a bazooka. Like they thought, and it kind of looks like they thought it was a bazooka and they got called. I was shining it on an oil refinery in Oklahoma and they got called and, they came with their sirens and they were ready to pull their guns, this sort of thing. It was pretty wild. I've had helicopters shine their light on me. I've had drones. I put it on a water tower alongside of a freeway, and I had another set of police come that were sort of harassing me. But for the most part, I've barely ever been shut down. I think I've been shut down 2 times, and both times were after the generator was almost going to go out anyway. So we communicated and talked, and they brought a bunch of extra police officers and called extra, basically backup. They're trying to find a law that I was breaking. And so by the time that all happened, I had already had the light up there for 2.5 or 3 hours, which is about the time frame that the generator lasts anyway. So it was always pretty successful.
We were happy to learn that Connie has been safe while engaging in non-violent activities to send out her vegan messages. We thank the beautiful and compassionate Connie Spence for her powerful activism. Join us again next Thursday, October 28th, to learn about the horrifying truth of our food system on Vegan Batgirl, Connie Spence, Part 204, The Food System. We salute your efforts, Connie, and wish for everyone to understand your message that veganism is the easiest and only solution that can heal our world from the ongoing crisis virtually overnight. To find out more about Connie Spence, please visit instagram.com/vegan_Batgirl, website agriculturefairnessalliance.org, liberation360.org, veganjusticeleague.com. Compassionate viewers, thank you for your warm company today. May your hearts be filled with God's timeless grace.
Vegan, 'cause only hellish people choose otherwise.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/VEG.
Nos programmes offrent plusieurs langues. Veuillez visiter suprememastertv.com/schedule et suprememastertv.com/VEG.
Nuestros programas ofrecen varios idiomas. Visiten suprememastertv.com/schedule y suprememastertv.com/VEG.
Наши программы предлагают много языков. Пожалуйста, посмотрите suprememastertv.com/schedule и suprememastertv.com/VEG.